I forgot to mention that Alice also encountered a caterpillar who was basically just playing the lazy card in the Rankin Bass cartoon. But in the Disney one, we actually see him smoking something that's quite hazardous in today's standards. And the caterpillar is voiced by Richard Hayton. You know, Uncle Max from The Sound of Music, which we already talked about. Anyway, progressing through the story, Alice actually encounters the Queen of Hearts. And in both of those adaptations, the Queen of Hearts is supposed to be nasty and hate-filled, while in the Care Bears one, she is nice and jolly. But we do not want to go for that one. We're only going for the Disney and Rankin Bass ones. When the Queen of Hearts demanded that some of the cards would get their heads chopped off, even though we don't see that happening, doesn't mean it's not gruesome. And the Queen of Hearts actually meets Alice for the first time. And that queen made her do a lot of polite things. You know, like doing a curtsy, which Alice actually is cute when she does it. But boy, is that queen really cruel. And of course, she invites Alice for a game of croquet. But unlike the usual croquet bat and balls that's used in croquet, they actually use flamingos as the clubs and hedgehogs as the balls, not to be confused with Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, from Sega, mostly from the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive in Japan, Europe, and Australia. Well, that game did go a little well until the Cheshire Cat interfered. And boy, was that queen really getting angry. In any second, her head could be gone. Yikes! So she demanded a trial. And we see a bunch of odd animals actually writing some pieces of evidence. Then fast forward to roughly around the end of the film, where Alice gets chased by all those wacky and crazy characters we've met in the film. But there were some characters that were not in the film, but one of them was used in the Rankin Bass one, and that's the Mock Turtle. But it would have been nice to have other memorable encounters that she has in the books, like Humpty Dumpty, the Jabberwocky, the Mock Turtle, the Knight, you name it. Then Alice wakes up and finds out that it was all just a dream. And Alice and her sister return home for a tea. Thus we end the film. Okay, how can I rate Alice in Wonderland? Well, the humor is great, the emotion is great in certain spots. The voice acting is top-notch in both adaptations, And there are some great lessons to be learned here. And yes, Alice in Wonderland, known in Germany and Japan as Alice in Wonderland and Fushigi no Kuni no Arisu, respectively, has been adapted by almost everyone. You name it. Disney, Hanna-Barbera, Rankin-Bass, you name it. And it's been translated into many different languages, including French, German, Japanese, Latin American Spanish, Italian, Mandarin Chinese, Cantonese Chinese, Thai, Swedish, Danish, and Brazilian Portuguese. And one of the interesting facts about the film, that Walt Disney actually started the project in the late 1930s, before World War II hit. You know what I'm talking about. Because Ginger Rogers at one point was going to portray Alice. But then years later, the Walt Disney Company decided to make their adaptation an all-animated feature. Just as that they've done with other fairy tales at that point. In 1950, just 1 year before the film was released, the Walt Disney Company, which was owned by RKO Studios at the time, actually produced a 1-hour commercial for the film. And that's the television special 1 Hour in Wonderland, where some of the major Disney stars attended that set at the time, like Bobby Driscoll. Well, all the live-action segments were in black and white, while the cartoon segments were in color. Okay, I give the movie, both the Disney and Rankin-Bass ones, a perfect score each. 10 out of 10. 5 stars out of 5. 2 thumbs up. Okay, that should be it for the video for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment. And as always, amigos, au revoir und auf Wiedersehen.